At 4 a.m. your yard is not silent. You think it is. From inside the house, behind glass, under the sound of the heating system and the refrigerator hum and the ambient noise of a sleeping neighborhood, it seems silent. But if you walked outside right now and stood completely still for 5 minutes, what you would hear would change your understanding of what your yard actually is. Because your yard at 4 a.m. is not resting. It is not waiting. It is producing a continuous, layered, biologically precise soundscape that every bird within a mile of your property is actively monitoring, processing, and responding to in real time. Sound in the natural world does not behave the way most people imagine it does. It is not just noise. It is not just birds singing because they feel like singing. Every sound your yard generates in the hours before dawn is information. And the animals that live in and around that yard have nervous systems built specifically to extract that information from the dark at a level of sensitivity and precision that has no human equivalent. Welcome back to Backyard Bird Mind. Subscribe before you leave because what we are going to cover today happens in your yard every single morning before you wake up, and it involves every bird you will see at your feeder later that day. Stay until the end because the final section covers something that happens in the last 20 minutes before sunrise, and it is the moment when everything we discuss today converges into something that is genuinely difficult to fully absorb the first time you understand it. Tonight we are going into the 4 a.m. yard, into the sound it makes, what carries it, who is listening, and what they are doing with what they hear. Number 1. What your yard actually sounds like at 4 a.m. The first thing to understand is that your yard generates sound continuously whether any living thing is making noise or not. Wind moving through the maple produces a specific acoustic signature, different from the oak, different again from the dense evergreen hedge along your fence line. The texture of leaves, the density of branching, the flexibility of the wood, all of these produce distinct sounds at distinct wind speeds that are as specific and readable as a fingerprint to an animal that has been listening to them every night of its life. Water drips. Even in dry weather, overnight condensation collects on leaves and drips from branches to ground at intervals that change with temperature and humidity. The sound of water hitting leaf litter is different from water hitting bare soil, different again from water hitting stone or the rim of your bird bath. The ground itself makes noise, small mammals moving through the leaf litter, insects, the settling of soil, the scratch of a squirrel repositioning on a branch in its sleep. These are not loud sounds. They are sounds at the low end of what a human ear can detect on a good night in a quiet place. But they are continuous, and they form a baseline, an acoustic fingerprint of your specific yard, at a specific temperature, on a specific night. Every bird roosting within range of your yard has that baseline memorized. This is the part that most people have never considered. Your yard has a sound, a specific, consistent, recognizable sound that the birds around it know the way you know the sound of your own house settling at night. And the moment that sound changes, every bird within hearing range knows it. Number 2. The alarm network that runs through your neighborhood before dawn. Birds do not communicate only through song. One of the most sophisticated and least understood communication systems in the natural world runs through the pre-dawn hours in your yard and every yard connected. It is called the heterospecific alarm network. And it means that when one species in your yard detects a threat and vocalizes, other species that have nothing to do with that bird biologically are listening to that alarm and responding. The American robin is one of the most important nodes in this network in suburban yards. Robins are among the earliest risers in the backyard bird community, often vocalizing in the hour before the first light appears. But before they sing, they listen. A robin sitting in the oak at 3:45 am is monitoring the full acoustic environment of your yard with a level of attention that is difficult to overstate. The snap of a branch, the change in the wind, the sound of something moving through the leaf litter that does not move the way a settling squirrel moves. When a robin detects something that registers as a threat and produces an alarm call, that call does not just reach other robins. Chickadees hear it, titmice hear it, cardinals hear it, white-throated sparrows hear it. Each of these species has evolved to recognize the alarm calls of other species, not just their own, and to extract specific information from those calls about the type, location, and urgency of the threat. Research from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology has documented that some species can extract directional information from alarm calls, understanding not just that a predator is present but approximately where it is relative to the caller. The sleeping chickadee in the woodpecker hole in your oak is not just woken by an alarm. It receives a message with coordinates. This network is running in your yard right now. It ran last night. It will run tomorrow morning. And the birds that appear at your feeder at 7 a.m. looking calm and unhurried have already spent several hours inside one of the most sophisticated distributed threat detection systems in the natural world. Number 3. Why the hour before dawn is the most acoustically dangerous time in your yard. Predators know about the alarm network. Or rather, predators have evolved behavior in response to it over over millions of years, which amounts to the same thing. The great horned owl, the most significant aerial predator for the birds in your yard, is most active in the 2 hours after dark and the 2 hours before dawn. This timing is not accidental. The deepest part of the night, 1 a.m. to 3 a.m., is when small birds are in their deepest roosting state, hardest to flush, most difficult to locate acoustic. The hours on either side of that window are the transition zones when birds are moving, adjusting, beginning to stir, and therefore generating more sound and more movement than at any other time of night. The owl is listening for exactly that. A great horned owl can locate prey by sound alone in complete darkness with an accuracy measured in fractions of a degree. Its facial disc, the flat circular arrangement of feathers around its face, functions as a parabolic reflector, gathering sound and directing it to asymmetrically positioned ears that allow precise three-dimensional sound location. It does not need to see your yard. It is reading your yard acoustically with a precision that is effectively a form of sonar. This is why the pre-dawn hours are when the alarm network in your yard runs at its highest intensity. Every bird is stirring. Every bird is generating small sounds of movement and adjustment. And every bird knows that the thing listening to those sounds in the dark above the tree line is also listening for the moment when the network itself goes quiet, because silence in a yard that should be making sound is its own kind of alarm. Number 4. What a single sound change tells every bird in your yard. Here is where the sensitivity of this system becomes something worth sitting with. Researchers studying acoustic ecology in suburban environments have documented that birds can detect changes in background soundscape that are imperceptible to human hearing. Not just the presence of a new sound, but the absence of a sound that should be there. When a predator enters a section of your yard, the insects in that section go quiet. The small mammals freeze. The accumulated micro sounds of the ground layer, drips, rustles, the low continuous texture of a living environment drop in a way that creates a localized silence within the broader soundscape. To a human standing in the yard, this registers as nothing. The yard sounds quiet everywhere, so a patch of deeper quiet is undetectable. To a bird with a memorized baseline of exactly how your yard sounds at 4 a.m. on a still night in May, that localized silence is as loud as a shout. It is a gap in the pattern, a shape in the sound that was not there before, and the information that shape carries is precise. Something is there, in that location, not moving, waiting. The birds in your yard are not just listening for sounds. They are listening for the map your yard makes with sound and monitoring that map continuously for changes in its shape. Your yard has a voice. It speaks all night, and every bird that will visit your feeder in the morning has been listening to it for hours before you open your eyes. Number 5. The dawn chorus and what it actually is. Most people experience the dawn chorus as something beautiful and somewhat random. Birds beginning to sing as the light increases. A celebration of morning. A pleasant natural alarm clock. It is none of those things. Or rather, it is all of those things and also something far more specific and far more functional. The dawn chorus begins before there is enough light to see by. In spring at the latitude of most North American backyards, the first songs begin 30 to 45 minutes before civil twilight, before the sky shows any visible brightening at the horizon. The birds singing in complete or near complete darkness are not responding to light. They are responding to an internal circadian signal triggered by the length of the preceding night. What they are doing is acoustic territory mapping. Every male bird singing in the dawn chorus is broadcasting his location, his identity, his condition, and his territorial claim to every other bird of his species within hearing range. The song is a signal rich with information. Frequency, complexity, consistency, and timing all carry data about the singer's health, age, and competitive status. Neighboring males are listening to each other's songs and updating their mental maps of who is where, how strong they sound today compared to yesterday, whether anything has changed overnight that requires a response. The dawn chorus is a neighborhood negotiation conducted in sound at a speed and complexity that human social systems have no equivalent for. In the space of 20 minutes before sunrise, the territorial landscape of your entire neighborhood is assessed, confirmed, challenged, and redrawn through a sonic exchange involving dozens of individuals across multiple species. And it begins in your yard. In the oak where the robin roosts. In the holly where the cardinal slept. In the woodpecker hole where the chickadee spent the night with its metabolism pulled back to the edge of survival. They wake into that exchange already informed by hours of acoustic monitoring, already knowing where the owl was last heard, already knowing what moved through the leaf litter at 3 a.m., already knowing the shape of the night just past. The bird that lands at your feeder at 7 a.m. and looks at you with that specific stillness, head tilted, eye bright, has already lived several hours of a life you were not awake to see. It crossed through the alarm network. It heard the dawn chorus build from the first note. It made its territorial claims and heard the responses. It assessed the night and found it survivable and moved forward into the morning with that assessment complete. You fill the feeder. It lands. It looks at you. And somewhere in the acoustic memory of that small animal is the complete sound of your yard at 4 a.m. a.m. Every drip, every rustle, every shift in the wind through the maple. The shape of the night it just came through, recorded with a fidelity and precision that no instrument you own could match. That is what is looking back at you from the feeder every morning. Tell me in the comments. Have you ever been outside in your yard in the early hours and heard something that stopped you? A sound that felt like it meant something even though you could not say what? I want to hear it.